This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. We have one person there. Oh, is that Eric just popped on? Yeah. And then SC, I don't know. Can you talk, SC? I see a green microphone. Okay, well, chime in when you can. Welcome everybody to the March Clubhouse chat on the challenge that we threw up this month. And so we're just, we wanted to chat about it and see how it went for people. It was kind of my idea. As somebody, oh, that's Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne. Thanks for the chat. As somebody who was trained in the grid method of just doing direct sends with no circling. And my original trainer was like, why would we ever want a dog to run past a ball? I had to get convinced that circling was worth training, and so I've been fascinated for the last couple of years while I've been playing with it, with how to differentiate cues and how to be really clear with our dogs. Do we want them to run around the balls, or do we want them to go straight to the one we're pointing at? And how can they tell, which one we're pointing at, and how do we make that a clear cue for them? So that's how I came up with this challenge after playing around with that. So I thought we could kind of go around like we did, like you guys did without me last time. And I do have some questions. So let's see, is that showing all the way? There we go. So first of all, I apologize for my mouse written numbers on that slide. That's from the YouTube video. It's like, okay, that's how Monica can write with a mouse. We didn't have any I didn't have any fancy programs to help me with that. So yeah, let's go around and just talk about the challenge, whether you did it, whether you didn't, differentiating cues, whether you thought it was fun. So anybody want to start? Sandy, how about you? Sorry, Eric, okay. You were too slow.
As you saw from my videos, I had mixed results. My young, inexperienced dog had not that much problem with it. My older, very experienced dog wouldn't complete it. So go figure. But I did discover that my young dog, I had to. There's a lot of videos I didn't show because when I was working with it initially, he wanted to serpentine the balls. Particularly if there was, he'd pushed one in already, and then I was trying to get him to arc the other direction. So that was a bit of an issue, and I think it was Chris that suggested I needed to shorten the distance. So when I did that, the away and come by terms then registered with him, and he stayed on the arc. But an interesting thing is I've taught him the word out, and I actually had gotten the 15-foot success by switching from coming away to just telling him after the initial away or come by to keep telling him out as he passed the next balls that I didn't want him to stop at. So
interesting. Huh. Yeah. Okay, so you brought in a whole brand new cue.
Well, it's a cue that I've used before in Treibball, so he was familiar with it because when I'm trying to send him to go out, get like in balls in order to get a ball that's further away. I'll tell, but either of my dogs, out as opposed to away and come by. It's just the language I have with them. And then Allie just makes up her own courses. She doesn't think that she needs my help. So
a mind of her own.
As I stated, I'm on the verge of retiring her anyway. So I thought we'll just stop play with it. If she gets it, great. If not, no big deal.
Cool. So what about cues? Do you want to talk about your cues and verbal versus physical?
I rely a lot on physical. If I want them to go away, my right arm comes up and does a circle. If I want them to come by, or go clockwise, it's the left arm comes up, and I try to point them in the direction I want them to go. So I'm angled towards the corner balls. If I want them to go arc around, I'm pointed at the center ball if I want them to go straight down the line. And I just tell them whoa when they get whoa, or wait when they get close to the ball I want them to stop at. And that generally works pretty good. You know, you got to work my timing. It's a little different between two dogs. My young guy will stop on a dime more, where Allie, like I say, she'll, in the video, she was pausing at the right ball, and she's going, yeah, I like it. Get on. So, but that's pretty much my approach. Is I don't use a separate term for lineup, which I know a lot of people do use.
A separate verbal.
A separate verbal. It's just, you know, it's whoa or wait. It doesn't matter if they're pushing to me and I want
For
them
the
to
lineup.
stop, or you know, I'm sending them and you know, they're passing 6 balls. And
what about the go out?
And yeah.
The go straight out direct send. Do you have a different verbal for that?
I would probably use out more than away or come by. Or just go. I'm terribly inconsistent, but they get it for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Probably why I'm not a trainer. Or at least of
Eric,
others. At least of other people.
Eric, you want to go next? You were eager.
Yeah, I was just gonna disagree with her and say if we all have dogs, we're all trainers. We're thrown into it whether we want to be or not, right, Sandy?
Well, yes, but I don't train for a living.
Yeah, with me, well, we definitely did the challenge. I have the bouncy little border collie that yells profanity at me the whole time. So I do train people and hold classes, and this was kind of it was a fun challenging with some eye-opening moments from my perspective. I did see a lot of differentiation, and you saw a lot of different breed characteristics come out in dogs that want to circle as opposed to dogs that are okay going straight out to something. So that was kind of fun. And for me with Jet, she was definitely relying on my body and her breed characteristics more than verbal anything. So she really wanted to flank. They're just hardwired in border collies, right, to flank. So I've tried to differentiate those cues with my lineup. You know, when we're playing just standard Treibball and I say line up, it doesn't matter if she's on the away or the come by. She goes out, she lines up on the point ball. That's just what lineup means. But now that you start to stretch the balls out, it takes on a different meaning. And lineup is more about that direct send, whereas away is more about a flanking or come by for that matter. Definitely relying on my body cues. If for me to get the away, she needs to be on my right hip when I send her out. For me to get the come by, she's got to be on my left hip when I send her out. So she's still definitely relying on a lot more than that. But as we got further and further and further in distance, and we even did it as far away as 45 feet, it really was hard to pull her off of the flank, off the away, and get her to go straight out to that center ball. So fascinating stuff.
Cool. I'm glad you found it fascinating. Me too.
Everything about dog training is fascinating. Everything about dog behavior is fascinating. So, yeah, it's fun. I loved it a lot.
Cool. Anything you want to share from your students' perspectives, or?
I will. I want to be really PC about how I say this. I definitely see where I can put a lot more time into training my own dog, right? And a lot of my students don't have the facility or the opportunity to train as much as I do. And their dogs, when they get 1 hour a week, right, and that's it, 'cause sometimes it's a lot tougher. So there was a lot more challenge for a lot of the younger dogs, even just the flanking, right? And so, yeah.
Yeah. It's not a beginning, it's not, the challenge itself is not a beginning exercise at all,
No,
Yeah.
no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and even with Jet, I noticed that when they would really line up and look, there was we learned a lot more about reinforcing the game of calling off the ball. Like any dog can line up and push the ball, right? It's actually getting them to line up and not push the ball. That's one of the more difficult challenges. And this was really a good example of, whether the dog swung out to 1, 2, or 3, they'd stop and look at you. And are you using our body language accordingly, applying pressure one way or the other to get them to switch to the next ball? So they're really trying to wait to get the push cue or whatever that cue is to bring the ball back to you. So it was a really fun challenge in that aspect of really teaching us how to teach our dogs not to push the ball.
Cool.
Yeah, fun. I can't wait for the next challenge.
Yay.
No
We're
pressure,
open to
guys.
suggestions.
Who wants to go?
I'll just say I didn't do this because of the snow and the ice, and my house does definitely not have any room like that. But I have done a similar exercise, only in a circle, years ago with my first 2 Treibball dogs. And it's a lot of fun, and it really helps me to tighten up my physical cues, because I have one of my dogs is super over aroused. And so I have to have him stop behind the ball and either sit or lie down, because if I don't, he'll just go crazy. And so I ended up with some really huge cues, but sending him around several balls, stopping at one, pushing that one in, stopping at the next, but then moving on. We did, like I say, we didn't do it this time, but I really liked the challenge and I saved it. We're going to do it if winter ever goes away.
You can always post it later.
Yeah, it's okay. And we also have in-person Treibball lessons starting in Loveland, Colorado, just 55 miles down the road. And so I've let that instructor know about challenges like this and the organization. So I'm hoping, she just has her first intro class. I'm hoping as those students come along, they'll incorporate some of these into their classes as well.
Great. Margaret, Linda, one of you guys want to go?
Sure. I've got 2 dogs. There's Finn. He's my first Treibball dog, and so he had to suffer through me being inconsistent over the years and changing the way I was gonna direct certain things. But we've come to an understanding on stuff. So he has a mixed bag of skills. This was fun. He's pretty good. Marty, my youngest one, I'm trying to be more consistent with how I'm signaling things. And so what I've been, whereas with Finn, I say away, that might have a, sort of an ambiguous meaning to him. He knows he needs to go out and do something. When I say away to Marty, I want him to think that means I need to go out and look for the farthest thing away and try to go out around it and keep going until somebody tells me to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, same thing with come by. That would be coming from the other direction. So, it's a work in progress. He knows away, he knows come by. I don't think he really quite knows that I want him to go as far as possible and don't stop until I, tell him to stop. So this was a good exercise to work on those skills. As far as the one going up the middle, for Finn, it's mostly just a straightforward hand motion. He seems to understand that means go straight ahead and do something. Marty, I'm thinking of having an actual command that means, go straight and do something. I haven't quite settled on. I'm looking for a good word. If anyone's got a suggestion for a command for go straight and get behind the ball.
All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate what you were saying, Margaret. That's kind of been where I've been at too, with wanting to differentiate and having a dog that I've been doing Treibball with for 7 years, kind of in lots of mucky ways. And and at one point, I added a go target to mean, hopefully mean go straight to that ball I'm pointing at and stop.
Yeah.
As opposed to go run out to the ball and just push it, which was what I first taught her, because we didn't have balls in order. And so she originally was just taught run out and push any ball to me. Doesn't matter which ball, and it doesn't matter, and you don't need to stop. So that was kind of my first problem. I had to teach her to stop. So that was what I did there. But yeah, so I've been just playing with the physical cues myself, with trying to differentiate them. Also, so interesting. Anyone else have any other verbal ideas for cues they haven't shared yet? I think a lot of people just use go out, right? Would be go straight out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sandy, you use a cue to say stop at that ball you're just about getting to, right? What was that? Whoa. You say whoa.
Yeah, I also have horses, so whoa is what generally comes out of my mouth. And the dogs seem to understand it from puppyhood because they hear me use it with the horse. So, but I also will use wait, and some days whoa works, some days wait works better. Whatever they're responding to that day.
So Chris told me that there was somebody on your guys' crew that was using the cue, that one. And I really liked that. It pops out of my mouth. So we started training with that, and that's working real well for me and my students. Just comes out of your mouth, as they're headed toward the ball you want them to stop at. That one flies out of your mouth.
It sounds different enough from other things I would yell that it could have a code meeting without causing confusion.
Yeah. All right. Linda, go ahead.
I haven't used it yet, but I mean, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there's a right there that we use a lot in sheep herding, right? So that the dog stops right there. There's not a lie down. There's not a move forward. It's just kind of seems like that cue right there. Because as you guys were just talking about that, it made me think, because I use lineup, right? Lineup means go straight out to the ball. Away means go, obviously counterclockwise. Way out, come by is clockwise. And once my dog is lined up on the ball, I'll have a switch cue. If that's not the right one, I'll say switch. But I was thinking I didn't actually have a cue for stopping my dog midpoint right there. Yeah, I just found a hole in my Treibball game. Holy Moses, you guys!
Holy Moses, yeah. And it kind of just gives them the heads up that the one you almost got to, the one you're looking at right now, that's the one I want you to line up behind.
Yeah, like that one. I like that. I like that a lot. So I'm gonna steal that.
Do you guys know who? Do you guys know who made that up?
Yeah. Must be some other large dog people.
It was one of your guys' Indiana crew. But
well, I think Debbie was playing with it. She saw a sheep herding video, or it was a guy down in Australia up on a horse, and he was herding sheep, and he used that one there, or there, I think is what he was saying, there, to just send their dogs to a spot.
Cool. Fun, you guys. This is so fun. Okay, how about you, Linda?
Quinn did pretty good. The first couple of times when I sent him out to go, I sent him out toward around 5 to get 2, and he got to 5 and tried to push it in, and I said no, and I took it back. And he did the same thing the second time, and when he didn't get cheese for it, then he got the idea that he needed to follow my hand and my body around until I said, I just pointed. I don't think I gave him a stop word. I think I just stopped moving and pointed, and then told him to push. And so then he brought in 2, and then I sent him around 1, and he stalled for a second, and then he just kept moving around and got to 4.
Fun. And what about the differentiating of the cues for you guys in your class? Were you working on how you're going to be cueing separately, the circling versus the direct send?
We're not doing it this. We're not all doing it the same.
Yeah.
The one of the gals in our class, her dog is kind of like Eric's, very rambunctious, super, super smart, and loves this game. Runs out there and flips himself into position and is ready to go. Quinn's a little bit more methodical behind it, and so I like her dog's enthusiasm. She likes my steadiness, and we're trying to figure out how to get more enthusiasm in Quinn and more steady in her dog.
I feel her pain.
So we're hoping that, well, and she plays, her dog needs to play a lot, and so she plays a lot with her dog. And some of the things that she has played with her dogs in her yard are coming back to bite her in the butt. So, like, she lives kind of on a hill, and so she has the dog push the ball up the hill to her, but then when she needs to take him down, she lets the dog take him back down again too. So the dog's trying to take him both directions, and Merlin's having fun.
Great. Thanks for sharing.
I suppose if only one of you can have fun, make sure it's the dog, right?
You bet. They're having fun.
Suzanne, can you talk, or no? I think you did a chat before. So maybe you're just going to be lurking. Green microphone not working. Okay. All right. Oh, she's lurking. Thanks for that. She's a lurker. All right. Well, I had, just for fun, let's see, I took some snips of, I took some snips of people. We'll start with Chris because she's not here. So I took some snips of the moment of the cue, and so here's Chris doing a circle cue with Mickey. And what I know from talking with Chris when she was trying to help me begin circling is that she really is relying on the verbal. And like when we did that one challenge where you like sat in a chair and then laid on the ground, remember that? And her dog would circle left or right with her laying on the ground. That was crazy. So if she was here, I think she would say that yeah, the verbal is stronger, and she starts him on the left side when he's going to circle around the left clockwise. So that's her circle cue. And then let's see. And then here's her direct send cue. And in the video, if you watched it, she really like had to get Mickey like really calm down at her side, and then it was a real intentional send from a down, which I thought was probably important for getting him to even see that ball, right? Because I don't know, I find the circling to be my dog finds the circling very rewarding, and she would rather circle now that she's learned it. Would you say that's true for you, Eric?
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else experiencing that?
I think my Sheltie would rather go take the direct route.
She'd rather go.
Allie has been known to actually just weave her way through a setup of balls because she can.
Yeah. So it depends on the dog. All right, then let's look. Well, so I've been playing with this, so I'll go ahead and go next and show you mine, which the challenge was me. So with the circling, sorry, this is a little small. With the circling, I've been trying to get the verbal stronger, but I don't think my dog listens to me verbally. I think she's really more paying attention to my body. Plus, I have trouble remembering which side is which cue is which. Kind of like heel and side, you know, with obedience. I just can't never remember which is my left side.
Left and right or he and ha. I get it.
Yeah, it's really hard. So I'm trying to use more movement and constantly moving and keeping the cue going for the circling. And she's really decided she loves to run past balls. So that was me circling her around counterclockwise. And then
I will say that I have both verbal and physical, and I'm like you, I get confused on which way is which. So a way around is this, but I'll say the other verbal and point this way, and they'll always follow my physical cue, and they Mom doesn't know what she's talking about. Let's blow her off.
And so then with my direct send, I've been really trying again, like Chris did, you know, making sure she's with me, like really looking at me, and then I'm pointing my hand right at the ball. And if there's not two balls real close to each other, you know, if it's like obvious, like this in there, it was in this exercise because I was doing it only at 15 feet. You know, she didn't have any question. But Erica, to your point that you got out to what do you say, 45 feet? I mean, that's like a completely different universe, you know, to get a direct send to a particular ball at 45 feet. How could they even, you know, follow your lineup hand, right? If you figure their head's over here and your hand's like this, even if you put it right in front of them, they don't know where your hand's pointing. Like you're looking from down below at where your hand's pointing. That's not the view they have, right? So.
Yeah, it became more, remember that we had talked about a game at one point where the dog's out on a ball, then you call them in between the next one, and then they go out to another one, and you bring them back and then out to another one. It became more of this calling them off the wrong direction and sending them back out to the right ball. Nope, don't go out there, go out to this one at 45 feet. It was really hard.
Yeah. And maybe at 45 feet, you wouldn't use this technique. Like in a game, you're only going to use this for the ball that's in front, right? And up closer.
Right.
That's the way I picture it being used. If you had balls at 45 feet, you're going to use your away or come by because you want them to move fast.
Right. And go and go out. That is correct.
And you could always stop them at the middle ball like you did, you know, at balls 2 and 5. You could always stop them at the middle ball, right?
Yep. That one.
Yeah. So let's see. Sandy, can I put you up on the screen? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So here's Sandy's circle.
Yep.
All right. So and then let's see. You want to say anything, Sandy, based on our discussion so far? Or?
No, like I say, this is my young guy, and quite a few times when I first do this send away, he leaps up and does a spin back towards me. So I don't know how the heck he knows where I'm trying to point him to, but
that's a Shelty thing.
Get there.
I'm looking forward to reviewing your video tiling in the future where I get to say, look for that cute spin.
Well, this is a leap in the air, almost nipping my hand as I'm sending him on his way. That's not Allie's cute little spin by any means.
Not Allie's cute spin. Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Okay, and then here's the direct send. Is this what you're talking about? The almost biting you in the hand leap?
Yeah.
Okay. This is your direct send.
When I do a direct send, I almost feel like I'm bowling for balls.
Bowling, yeah.
Instead of circling out, I'm almost going underhand. It's hard to show here on the video. Like I'm throwing a bowling ball towards the ball that I want the dog to go to. So
the direct send is like a bowling ball, and then the circling is you're waving kind of more side from the side. Yeah.
From the side, yeah.
That's a good one. I like the bowling ball. That's a good way to describe that. I wonder if bowling versus, because I've been kind of going more like straight alongside their nose. I wonder if the bowling is going to make more sense to them.
And I also use, I usually try to step forward with one leg, also pointing at the, the direction of the ball I'm going for.
Right, right. Yeah, I can see that right there. Awesome. All right, Eric, you good to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, I'm going to pull you up. All right, here is Eric's circle. So he's got, yeah, you got your hand way out and around.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and look how far over I am in the handler's box.
Yeah, way off to the side. Yeah, I've been doing that too. Yeah. Good pointing that out. All right, and then let me pull up. All right, and here's your direct send. So you're in the center now. Oopsie, I haven't got it up yet. Sorry. There you go.
Although the hand's still pretty high, higher than it should be technically.
Okay. But it might have swung up like the bowling ball.
Probably more like a bowling ball and not an out like in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, you were moving pretty fast, so it was hard to catch the moment.
Yeah. Nothing happens slow with Jedi, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Okay, who else do we got here? Then we got my student who wasn't able to complete the challenge yet, but she's hoping to this Sunday. So here's her circling. And yeah, so she's got that swinging arm thing, and she's way off to the side in the handler area. She's actually stepped way out of the handler area because this was the first time this dog tried this, actually second time. So yeah, we did what you figured out, Sandy, and we just started really close. We didn't make it to 15 feet yet.
Yeah.
And then
I stayed in one spot and tried to be 15 feet from each ball. I made my arc so, if I stood in the center, one spot, then I was 15 foot from each ball.
Oh.
Arcing the balls where the end balls were probably a little closer than the center
well,
ball.
So you thought you had to be 15 feet from those side balls too?
Yeah, that's the way I initially interpreted it and did it.
Okay, that might have been a poor description on the challenge. That wasn't my intention. Because like Eric, I usually use the whole. You usually use the whole handler area for the circling.
Yeah, when I'm playing in the yard, I don't demark a handler box or anything. I just sort of have a line for a couple of cones, but here's my line.
Okay, and then here's Zelda and Abby's direct send. So she's using what I was showing with the
bowling. Yep.
The hand, the bowling, exactly. Except a little more. I've done it a little bit more like I showed you, like kind of straight out. I think I'm gonna do the bowling past their face a little bit more. So fascinating, huh, guys? Very, very cool. Let's see. I'm just gonna check. We have a message here. Oh, Suzanne says you don't really want to hear my screeching mic. So, all right. Great. Well, let's see here. Let me go back to this. All right. Well, anyone else want to share anything else on this challenge?
I'm envious of all the green I see.
Yeah. If you can believe it, Barb, I went out to the field today to teach a class, and they had started watering. That's how sad it is here with the drought. So March 25th. Yeah. So I had puddles to walk through to get to my field. So
you don't want to hear it's raining here, then, do you?
No, we would love to have some rain. We would love it. We've only had 2 rainstorms all winter, so it's just crazy. So does anybody have any ideas for the next challenge? We'll put your thinking caps on. What's that?
Oh, I was telling Margaret, she always has ideas.
Well, you caught me a little flat-footed tonight.
Uh-oh.
Nothing really springs to mind.
All right, we'll put your thinking cap on. I just remembered there was one more thing I wanted to ask people about this challenge, was the idea of dogs running past balls. You know, I told you what my first trainer said, which was, why would you ever want a dog to run past a ball? And Chris has told me over and over again, I have to like have her talk me down every once in a while. I'm like, remind me again why I want to have them run past the ball, because she's having so much fun now. She's not stopping at the point ball. You know, and so the speed that you can get, you know, when you're playing a game at a distance with that running past the balls is gonna, you know, pay off if you also have the impulse control for them to stop, right? Yeah, so what do people think about that? Have they found challenges with running past the balls? Do they think that, like Eric, I noticed you had Jet kind of still checking in at each ball a little bit versus continuing to run.
Yeah, because we haven't taught that right there, that ball, right? Yeah, I've taught it in sheep herding, and I haven't taught it in Treibball.
Okay.
So and that's why it's happening. So much like you, Monica, I've taught Jet that she's supposed to go to the ball, stop and check in, as opposed to just run to a specific point. So I have a whole new training avenue in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to do that too. I think there is, I mean, there's a whole new slew of issues with a fast dog, but I think there is something to be said about continuing to run past a point until you hear that one, and then be like, whoop, okay, this is the one, and then check in and you see if you get the push.
Right.
I'm trying to be more of a generalist and train for both standard and balls in order and whatever future games. Actually, I don't mind that the dog kind of slows down as it passes each ball and waits for either my command to stop or to go on, as opposed to going until I tell it to stop. Because particularly in balls in order, you're a lot quicker if you can get the dog to stop at the right ball right off the bat, as opposed to running past it because there's something else further out that may not be the correct ball for that point in the game.
Yeah.
And there's a whole new, I mean, there's something to be said about consistency, and there's a whole new, like I said, a whole new set of issues with that fast dog. So
yeah, you got to get your that one cue out fast enough when they're far enough away that they can stop, that they can put on the brakes.
And if you allow them just to kind of push that impulse control a little bit, then the next thing you know, they're pushing the ball without waiting for the push cue too. So, you know, give an inch, take a mile.
Yep, they will.
Well, and that's something that might be a challenge is can you call your dog off a ball that they're pushing?
Challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And can they, you know, push the ball halfway, call it off, go back and push a different ball?
Oh, a look back. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You wanna come up with one and film that, Sandy?
Yeah.
You've seen my dogs. One's 11 months old, and the other one's retired.
Yeah, because that would definitely come into play in balls in order, right? That dog gets it on the wrong ball. Do you have the ability to get your dog to stop, to go back to the correct ball and bring in a different one?
I've had situations where, particularly with Allie, I think actually I had it with Splash too, which was my deaf dog, where they were so gentle on the break in balls in order that was difficult. I did have to send them to the wrong ball initially and then call them off in order for them to get to the ball that I really wanted, because the balls were too clustered still. So there's a use for that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I was playing a little bit with a cue that would mean give a little push, like, because JoJo's like, when you say push, you've hit the go button, right? And if the ball's only 25 feet away, she won't have time to stop, because she's just like, you know, a bulldozer at full speed with her head down pushing the ball. And she'll stop, but the ball's already in the goal.
Yeah.
One of the things that we played with after we played with this challenge was we put, like, for Merlin, we put 3 balls vertically from us. So they were in line this way, and Merlin had to go out and push the center ball and bypass the other two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's tough. Yeah.
And
So
again, it was getting ready for balls in order.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I've been trying to come up with like a little push cue for JoJo that means just give it a little push because I'm going to tell you to stop for sure after I say push. So far, I haven't been terribly successful.
Saves you a lot of penalty points if you can pull them off a push.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, ideas are whirling. I almost like, you know how novice balls in order is set up with the 4 balls? Almost like, can you
Hmm.
send your dog out, have him push the point ball, and once it's broken, have him bring back the 4 ball instead of the point ball?
There you go.
Mm. I guess I don't want to mess with the formation.
Well, exactly.
What about
So,
like Linda was saying, you've got 3 balls, 1, 2, 3, and the ball you want is the middle one. So they've got to push the farthest ball first to uncover the one that's in the middle. Is that what you meant
yeah.
with Merlin?
Well, what she ended up doing was she's got some word that she uses. So Merlin would charge up the side, and when he got kind of even with the center ball, she just said push, and he just veered left, and he's got an
Pushed it
awesome
right.
push. He's got an awesome push. He nudged it out, and then he curled his body and just pushed it right in.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean Merlin's awesome.
Yeah, so I've played with, because Joe pushes so fast and hard. The only way I can sometimes get her to stop is if there's like a ball that she knocks into, right? So I've done that with the 3 balls or with 2 balls. So the ball that she pushes, that she's behind, is going to knock into that next ball. And so I'll have time to tell her to stop because the ball's kind of got a bumper there. And then the time for her to hear me before the ball's all the way in the goal. And then I can redirect her.
Merlin's got such a hard push that when she pushes the point ball, she can bring all 3 balls in at the same time.
That
That's
happens
great.
particularly at novice, because the balls are so close to the goal.
Yeah.
Well, it never happened with Allie, but that's a whole other story.
She's so dainty though. I love watching her. It is so interesting how every dog is so different,
I do like the concept of lining up those 3 balls in a row and then saying, bringing back the middle one. I mean, because every single dog is going to do it different. And it'll be fun to watch how people train it and how people think about adapting to that situation. So,
Have the balls touching?
Yeah,
yeah, if not, very close, right? Yeah. I just like, just to see how people have put a different swing on it, each individual person with each individual dog. How they
so,
manage. Some of them are just going to blast it open and then see if they can stop their dog and get him to go to the other one. And some people, like Linda's dog, is going to be very strategic about trying to time it with that timing and the push. And
Maybe.
maybe in theory.
In theory.
so your idea, Eric, is that we're not saying this is a stop challenge. It's just the only challenge is, can you bring in the middle ball without bringing in the other 2 balls, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to work on distance, put 5 in a row vertically, and get that distance going.
And still bring in the middle one. Yeah. Although even that's hard. I mean, just taking the 3 balls and moving them out to 45 feet.
Right.
As I adjust with distance, it's amazing how much distance changes things.
Yeah.
Yeah, JoJo's kind of got she's got like a 30-foot wall right now she can't get past. She's just like, I'm old, I'm done going out past 30 feet.
Why?
You said it's a why or a lie?
Why? WHY. Why would I go out to 31 feet?
Yeah.
Ah, that's crazy.
Don't you know I'm a veteran? I'm old, man. Oh dear.
Linda, have you played the game with 5 balls?
This one, the challenge?
Yeah, well, that one you guys were talking about.
Well, we did the challenge.
No, I mean the when you were talking about with the 3 balls in a line. When you
I did not try it with Quinn. No.
I
So
was just
Linda was talking about a different dog in her class who was doing that.
oh, sorry. Okay, gotcha.
We have 3 dogs in our class. Merlin is way more advanced than Quinn and I are, and then we have
Okay, it was
Kathy Swan with Missy.
oh, and her cute little skipper keys. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that'd be cute. Look, a little black buff ball pushing a ball around.
Oh, it's pretty cute.
So it was Merlin that was doing it. All right, that makes yeah, okay.
Linda Sue's dog.
Yeah, that's cool. Fun. I look forward to trying that.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Chris was working on a vertical row of balls where you would call out that one and have them stop at one of the balls in the middle. So not just go all the way to the farthest ball, but they're going to keep running until you yell that one. And if
Right.
there's 6 balls out there and you yelled that one and their nose was at ball 3, they should stop and push ball 3. And that's what you're talking about, right, Linda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, boy, the timing would have to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
our angle is going to have to be so that we can tell where the dog is. It's us too.
Yeah.
That gets exponentially harder at distance.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even depth perception changes; it gets more difficult. So,
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
You guys hearing a bad noise on my end here? No? Okay. Let me know if you hear a bad noise. My husband's like making some noise out there.
Oh, jeez, men.
He's gardening. He's doing some evening gardening. So that was the green bin going past the window.
Yeah, it's kind of dark
He can
here.
come do mine.
Who is that, Margaret?
No, me.
Oh, Linda.
Yeah, it's only a 16-hour drive up the coast, right?
What the hey?
Yeah. Yeah. We're in the same time zone anyways.
There
Yeah.
you go.
All right. Well, anyone want to share anything else about any other questions that are not regarding this challenge, or any other ideas or thoughts you want to share before we close?
That
I
was fun.
keep hearing rumors that there's a new game coming.
Oh.
Is this just a rumor I'm hearing, or is there really a new game coming?
I don't think Eric's responding. I don't know if he's like purposely doing
I
that.
saw him shaking his head.
I just checking the dog out. I'm not sure. So,
I think there's no news release yet.
yeah, there's no news. So I hear a large rumor that there's a new game coming as well. So, and I think one of Nate's priorities is to release a new game this year. So chances are very good that there will be a new game coming.
I think one of the things we could think about doing is if we had dogs that played nice with each other, that doing a team thing would be kind of fun.
Oh man. Yep. We're on
Yep.
it.
I could definitely run Allie and
those-
Steve together.
Yep, those talks are already in the works actually. So with the team sports and stuff like that as well, that has nothing to do with the new game. But yeah, team activities. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I was trying to decide whether both handlers would be in the same handler box or whether to have 2 different handler boxes and this dog would go out and this dog would go out.
Yeah.
Alternate.
I was
we
just thinking of 1 handler and 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all the discussions we've been having. You guys are awesome. So yeah, and I tried it too, Linda, with Alyssa and Leah, her dog, and Jet was good for about one ball, and then spent the rest of the time hurting Leah. So
Well, I was thinking more that one dog would go out, bring a ball back, get
Mhm.
contained, while the other dog goes out, brings a ball in, and gets contained.
yeah, that
Yep,
was the
that's what we
theory.
did. Yeah, we had a challenge. Oh, that was the theory. We
Oh,
had a
that's
challenge. We had a challenge like that a few years ago.
Yep, we did.
I don't know if the training committee looked at that, or the training committee, the competition standards committee. Did you look at those?
I think I tried it.
Um,
Y- Yeah, we went over. Yeah, we'll have to go over some. We have a meeting next
you looked
week.
at
So
you looked at some of the old videos. This was, it's just 2019. It feels like forever
I was gonna
ago.
say on that
it's
long
like we lost a year.
Yeah.
We did.
Here's me and Yuki's team. And yeah, so we shared the same. I put it up on the screen. Is it going? Yeah, it'll be glitchy, but we shared the same handler box, but we took turns. And so JoJo's a recovering reactive, and so like I just like would grab her, make sure that she didn't go over to Yuki, and put her in a downstay, and then it was Yuki's turn to go, then push a ball. That's how we did it. It was super fun. Yeah. So there are quite a few videos, Eric, on this.
Yeah, and that's the way that Alyssa and I was trying it. Now, what I would say is apparently dogs don't generalize. They don't have that part of the brain. Um, so the amazing thing with Jet, with my dog, is that when we run, say, pairs in USDAA in agility, I can put her into a lie down and she can watch all those dogs run with no problem. Apparently, that doesn't cross over to Treibball.
Oh, fascinating.
Right? Because yeah, with the pushing the balls game, apparently she doesn't have to wait. She can run out there and do circles around the other dogs. So it's just training in a new scenario or a new environment. It's crazy. Dogs are humbling.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know I tried that same challenge with the two dogs that I had at the time, and I just had one stay in the handler box when I
Yeah.
sent the other ones, and then just alternate between the two.
Yeah. And I think Mary Ann did it with her two poodles, right? She had one in a stay on a platform or something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
working.
I'd have to hang on to Quinn. I don't think he'd stay on a down.
I was actually shocked
Yeah.
that mine would stay and wait.
Yeah, it took some practice, but having two handlers, and if you're feeding your dog while the other dog's going, that helps. But yeah, if you have one handler and two dogs, that's a definitely, you got to work up to that. I'm working on it with my two dogs. When they're on their beds, one can come off and do a spin, and then and then she goes back to her bed, and they both get treats, and then the other one comes off and does a spin. That's as much as we've worked up to so far. Cool. Well, lots of fun ahead, you guys.
All good.
Yes, there
New
is.
things to work on.
Yep. All right. Well, anybody have any other last things they wanted? Somebody else was also trying to talk and add something. No? Okay, I thought I heard two people talk at the same time earlier. All right, if everyone's talked out, shall we say goodbye for this month?
Yes, we shall. This was fun, guys.
Yeah, it was really fun. Really had a great time.
Good topic.
Yeah.
All right,
All
well
right.
then have a good month, and we'll see you around on Facebook and wherever else.
Yep. Talk to you all at the next club chat.
All right.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.